Real life music.
Alhamdulillah. These are great times to be in the Gambia. Yes.
Okay, what's your definition of a woman boss? A woman boss is that person that wakes up in the morning, that takes care of her family, takes care of the husband, the kids, and everything, goes to work, comes home, stand in heels, cook, and do it all and still be a badass at the corporate office and boardrooms, going into helping the community. It's doing all of it.
Every time we talk about Innovate Gambia, there's this look of, what do you want? Folks, if you look around the world, most successful people and companies, they give back to their communities, and that's how they thrive.
This is the time where we hold hands and in solidarity and stand up for the women cause.
A go-getter, hustler. You don't sit, no sleep. Sleep doesn't exist in my world.
We can't change this room, but we can change the young girls, change their perspective.
It's real life music.
Education is service, health is service, and Mrs. Ndao is one of the women bosses that I look up to. And we must, as a matter of necessity, acknowledge, applaud, and appreciate Mrs. Our Mary Ann Khan and for her sterling achievement.
Woman boss is the woman who is in charge. And being in business 9 years already, in and out from public and private sector, I'm just glad to see more women taking the front seat and believing in themselves.
It is also very important to highlight that the cost to digitalize is very high. We would certainly not have been able to afford to pay for all of those costs at this moment in time without the help of the Woman Boss program.
If you have knowledge, expertise in some areas,
Exactly.
we need, because we can't do the mentorship alone. We just
yes.
can't. So we're trying to create an ecosystem of other leaders.
It's real life music.
To eradicate poverty, provide better nutrition for the family, as well as provide the woman an opportunity to provide better educational opportunities for their children.
te nañ jàppalante ñu dimbalante ñi nga xam ne dem nañ ci kaw yàlla successful leen ci business nañ dimbale ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi soog a ñëw parce que soo leen dimbalee rek dañoo ñëw ci kaw.
There are levels to this ladder. You can't just come and expect to just, shine. You have to work, put in your work, and that's what Awa has done in America, and that's what she's doing in Gambia. And all of you women that are here that are working in politics, private businesses, you guys are doing the same thing. So I want you to give a round of applause to yourself, please.
Taking into cognizance the importance of gender mainstreaming. These reforms are particularly important because in achieving equality between men and women is a matter of human rights and a condition for social justice, which is a necessary prerequisite for equality, development, and peace. It should not be seen as a woman's only issue. This is because it is the only way to sustainable development, just and equitable society for all. Government, in as much as we recognize the need that so much work needs to be done to get us to where we want to be, we will be remiss if we do not recount on some of our successes that we have registered as a government. Government has enacted laws to support and promote the advancement of women's rights. It has enacted laws to prohibit and criminalize certain actions such as FGM and bring an end to early marriage. Of course, laws are there and laws are to be enforced. And if laws are not enforced, then they have no purpose. So this is where we realize we need to double up our efforts to ensure that the laws that we have put in place are respected and observed and enforced. In terms of policy, government has formulated policies which are aimed at empowering women in all respects. In the area of education, we can now say that we have achieved gender parity for girls from preschool up to senior secondary school level. We can also say that government has provided access to basic healthcare services for women, including prenatal and antenatal facilities, as well as family planning services. In fact, this is the first time in our history that government has earmarked budgetary allocation to support family planning services for Gambian women. As we also know, social protection is also on government's agenda because we believe that that is a tool that we can use to target the most vulnerable households in the Gambia. And the social protection policy of government is aimed at providing financial support to the most vulnerable households in Gambia, which we all know are usually headed by women. So the government of the Gambia is currently in the process of setting up a social protection secretariat, as well as a social registry, with the aim of trying to uplift those most vulnerable households out of poverty. As a government, we recognize the importance of partnerships and multi-sectoral collaborations that help accelerate women's equal participation in decision-making in the workplace and as entrepreneurs, which is why we will continue to support initiatives such as these that seek to enable women by providing them opportunities. We also recognize that women's access to economic resources is a critical enabler of economic growth. To eradicate poverty, provide better nutrition for the family, as well as provide the woman an opportunity to provide better educational opportunities for their children. Which is why, in fact, the government of the Gambia is establishing the Women's Enterprise Development Fund. This is the first time also the government has, at cabinet level, approved a $5 million annual allocation to this fund to support its activities, to, of course, to be complemented by donor funding. We envisage that this fund will see to it that women have access to finance, training, and capacity building to grow or start their businesses. This, we believe, will provide a sustainable platform to accelerate growth of women enterprises and contribute to the growth of our economy. On this note, I wish to reiterate on behalf of government our commitment to the advancement of women empowerment in all respects of life, and to commend once again Mrs. Khan for this very wonderful initiative. While I can't wait to hear from you, I will say that I look forward to working with you and everyone here, hand in hand, towards a common goal, as the empowerment of women is a collective responsibility we have as government, private sector, civil society organizations, communities, men and women, as well as individuals. So on that note, I thank you all very much.
Thank you, Safi Sankare, for that great speech. All right, now the next level, I'm going to introduce our Mary soon. But why women? Because women are bosses. Women like racism. You know, we've been through 400 years of racism. It happened, but Black people are still going through it. And I feel like women are still going through it. And you know why? Because they know what we're capable of. And, you know, we're just the bosses. Simple as that. So now I'm going to introduce our Mary Lokan to come and tell you why woman and to tell you about the Woman Boss.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Honorable guests, speakers, my fellow women, and our champions, our he for she's, our gentlemen. My name is Awa Mary Khan, and I am the founder. Excuse me, I am Awa Mary Lo Khan. My dad is here. I want to correct that. Lo Khan, I make sure I add the lo. Usually I get off the lo. I'm like, there's no lo anymore. And I'm the founder CEO of The Woman Boss and Innovate Gambia. What an honor it is to stand before you today with so much joy and excitement to launch The Woman Boss. Many people walk through life not knowing what their purpose is. I am glad to have found it so early to pivot and to take that leap of faith and to pursue my promise. See, I learned that you can find your purpose and still be all about yourself. The God's promise for your life is the difference you were born to make. And it is always other-centered, not self-centered. The promise-driven leader, which is what I am, changes the systems, shifts the paradigm, and always distinguishes yourself to others. My promise is Innovate Gambia is the Woman Boss. Yes, I am Gambian. Majority of you came in speaking English to me. I am Gambian. I am not Gambian because my husband is. I go to a lot of meetings and people think I'm American, so I'm just with my husband because he barely speaks Wolof. I actually taught him Wolof, and he's Gambian, 100%. I am Gambian because my father is, who's here with me today. I grew up right here in Canaving South, went to Methodist Primary School, and then to Gambia High School. So during that time, I knew firsthand what it meant to be a woman entrepreneur. I left here to, sorry, I'm getting emotional. I left here at the age of 17. Promise not to do that. All right, I left here at the age of 17 to further my studies and embark on the journey of the United States. And I thought, I'll go for 4 years and I'll be right back, just like everybody thinks. Next thing you know, it's almost 22 years and I was still there. So like I said, I knew firsthand living here what it took to be a woman entrepreneur. My many aunties, a lot of bajans and tantas were entrepreneurs. They either owned ateliers, which is where you get your fabric and get it sewn. They sold popsicles, which is aisibui and aisiwanja, or fruits or fabrics, whatever it was. I actually even helped some of them to sell that. So at the age of 17 again, I attended a college, an HBCU, which is a historically black college university in the United States. I wanted to live the Cosby shows, the different world. During my school, which is an HBCU, they also lacked a lot of opportunities because, again, you're dealing with African American population. And during the 4 years, I saw my counterparts that came into the US or other friends that I had that were offered scholarships and internships across the big corporate Americas and so on. And I thought, wow, I would have loved that. Never got a chance at that. But I always thought, one day I'll change that. So my background after graduation was always in finance. So I've been working as a chief financial officer for over 17 years. However, during this past 8 years, I started working for a community development financial institution. And so what's really great about the United States is they have, not only obviously, they do care about the community, but they have pockets of funding that's set aside in Congress that will be embarked for women and small businesses and so on for women in the rural communities. And so at that time, I thought, wow, this is amazing. I've never heard of this. I always knew there were banks and then nothing in between that. And the first thing at that time, when I went to the interview, I thought, how come we don't have this, something like this in the Gambia? Sorry, so with that, I worked with them for almost 8 years, and I managed their social impact capital. With that organization, I was fortunate to have exposure to do legislative work, advocating for small businesses, minorities at the state level, at US Congress, and at the White House. I was also exposed to lots of leadership training, mentorship, and sponsorship. At a conference one day, I had a wonderful idea of creating an innovation and entrepreneurship center and partner with Shaw University, which is my alma mater, the university I attended. And that is to offer students the exposure I never had. My friend, who was the president at that time, we actually went to school together, loved the idea, and within a couple of months, we had a wonderful donor who funded the entire center, and it was open. And this was in January 2017. This center was the start of something that sparked my promise. This was the first of its kind, and HBCU, which is a college, partnered with a loan fund. From then, I received multiple requests to help open innovation and entrepreneurship centers across North Carolina, South Carolina, Washington, D.C. When I got the call to help Howard University to mirror that, I thought, okay, maybe we're going somewhere. And then after that, I got invited to Harvard University with a H-A-R-V-A-R-D. to do a presentation there on public and private partnership with unlocking capital in the community. Pretty much what I've done. They were just amazed that we came up with that. And so I had a workshop there with the students that are doing their master's degree in public policy. So during this time, it started to dawn on me that my aunties and my girls, my young daughters, my 2 daughters, and all women entrepreneurs in the Gambia would really benefit from an innovation and entrepreneurship center. It became clear that my daughters would also benefit from this because they needed the leadership skills. I always knew leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation was the future. You need to clap for that, because it is the future. So mid this year, we decided, my husband and I decided, to leave our American lifestyle. I left my 9-to-5 job to pursue my promise to give back to the community where it all started for me, and that is to come home. I had a vision to create women's centers across the entire continent, so I'm not done. African continent. Now, everybody's here and everybody's curious, what is the woman boss? What is this woman boss? People love the name woman boss. We're all women bosses, right? So the Woman Boss is a center that promises women entrepreneurs, provides women entrepreneurs with an inspiring community to create new ideas and catalyze innovative thinking. We want to create an ecosystem of support for women that will foster intellectual capital and allow entrepreneurs to leverage different learning platforms. To give further context on why women, I'll share a slide. So why women? Did you know that when you look at the top 10 markets in the world with the strongest supporting conditions and opportunities for women to strive as entrepreneurs, no African country is represented. No African country, not even South Africa. It was a shock to me. Did you also know that Ghana is the only African country among the top 10 women business owners in the world as a percentage of total business owners, coming in at 47%, yet not in top 10 to access opportunities? Going further, did you also know that only 26 women are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies? 20 years ago, there were none. There are only 18 women that are heads of state. Going further, women make up over half of the population, but only 30% of them are executives. Women earn the majority of university degrees. We all know that. Jigenda fa buga janga, for real. We love to learn, right? But yet, we are still underrepresented in top positions. 1 in 3 women, as Safia pointed out, which is what's going on right now, in the world will face gender-based violence. So to put this into context, I've worked pretty much, I think I only had 1 woman boss in my life. I didn't like her, but let's put it on the side. However, I always worked for male. And it always was a challenge because I was very young. I was very fortunate to get promoted at the age of 23, 24 to be a chief financial officer, maybe a few years out of college. And every time I would go with my CEO to meetings and stuff, they always thought I was his secretary or it's reality. And it still happens. It happens when I go with him to meetings. It happens in the Gambia. They always think I'm his secretary or somebody who works, or an intern. I used to get the intern look for a long time, and then that changed to a secretary. So I started changing that because I would just take it, and if they asked me to get tea, I would do that because, again, growing up here, they teach you to respect your elders. So if they ask you to do that, you just do it. Or you just offer tea and water. So I said, how do I change that? So I just want to offer it. I've been to meetings at a state level with government officials, with my boss then, the CEO, and I'm coming in to do presentation or work there. And the older men, gentlemen, will take their coats out and give it to me. And I will take my hand and drop them right there on the floor, just to teach them that that's not how you do it. Again, my dad didn't raise me to be that way, but I had to change it. So it's always a saying that you got to teach people how you want to be treated, or not only that, you have to teach them how you want to be treated. So I was teaching them how I want to be treated. Ask me, I wouldn't mind to hang your coat up, but don't assume. So, all in that, I kept thinking, if I'm having these issues here in the United States, I can only imagine what's happening in Africa. So, the need. What can I do to help? I started thinking about what can I do to help. I thought about Women in Leadership series. So I developed this Women in Leadership series for the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center that I built in Raleigh. And again, was a success. People come in, they learn, free series, people come in, meetups all the time. Then I developed the Young Girls Leadership series, as Nafi mentioned, which is the Mothers and Daughters brunch that I did in Raleigh, and that was to support a Senegambian community, the Senegambian girls. And I thought about, how about doing a Women Innovation and Entrepreneurship Centers across the entire continent of Africa? Well, how am I going to do that? I have no idea, but I want to do it. And I thought about doing women empowerment, just travel and do women empowerment. Then I thought about also finding ways to help create a loan fund for women so women can have access to capital. We already know that women have very difficulties accessing the 3 C's, which is credit, collateral, and capital. We know in the Gambia, or at least if you're lucky to own a property, you're very lucky. But if your parents own a property and you have from what I understand is if you have sons, the properties go to the boys. So you girls just, sorry, no luck. And I thought about mentorship. And on top of that, mentorship is the sponsorship. And I spoke about that on Monday when I came in and did a keynote for the Women Leadership Forum. And mentorship, it's one level. I'm not sure if I'm the one doing that, but it's one level of mentoring and doing the one-on-one. But then sponsorship takes it on a level where I'm going to meet with Omar Jai, and Omar Jai owns the company, and I'm going to go in and say, Neifatu is the best person. Omar Jai, you got to hire. She is so awesome, and this and that. So that's sponsorship, and you take it to the next level. So women in leadership are programs that we will offer. In the center will be Women in Leadership Series, Young Girls in Leadership Series, Women and Girls in Tech Series. I know some people are excited about that. And that's in collaboration with the Brainy right here. Yeah. Shout out to So my husband will be doing that part, just so you know. Scaling your business through digital transformation. And that is something, again, that he will talk about later. We'll do one-on-one entrepreneurial coaching, business plan development, and obviously mentorship. So, thank you. So we're going to the next phase, which is our accelerator, our first cohort. If you are, please stand, part of the women that are going to the first cohort. Stand. So let me tell you how excited I am. So when I first started thinking about doing this, and I thought, well, if I have all these entrepreneurs that's going to come in, and one day we open the doors and all of them are going to swarm in, how am I going to help everybody? And then I thought about, well, how can I just maybe start small, scale it up? I'll start with 10 entrepreneurs. So through that, I started talking with some of my friends in the US. And let's do an application period, an application, and then you go through the application. Maybe you'll be lucky if you get 20. So I thought, okay, you know what, I'll get 20 applications, 10 will go through, and then, I'll start to develop. This is a new market, people don't know me, and I know the culture. The African culture is kind of like the Latino culture. You gotta trust before you go in all the way. And so I put the application period out, and within a week, I think we received over almost 60, and at the end, we ended up receiving almost 90 applications. Clap for that. That's a lot. So with the 90, it was very, very hard to select. I mean, I stayed up nights reading their challenges. It broke my heart. It broke my heart, some of the applications that I read, the things that they're going through. Just basic skills that I know are lacking, and I thought, okay, definitely my promise is happening. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so this very fortunate group of women that are going to the first cohort, again, I was supposed to select 10. I ended up selecting 20 because I just couldn't say no. So there's still a whole nother group of women that couldn't put through. But they'll have a chance. This is the first cohort. Okay, they're ruining my program. Women are shaking the room. Clearly. All right, so what is this Accelerator program, and what are they going to receive, and how is it different from anybody else and what they're offering here? So the first cohort will go through a 3-month program. It will run from February to May. I was going to come and start the program in this December. But then I thought about the semester season. People are in the party mode. Let me just let them semester, you know. And so I'll be back in February to start the intense workshops. So I met with the females this morning. So the 1 week intense workshops they'll receive. The curriculum, obviously, everybody always starts with women in leadership. If you don't know how to lead, you can't continue and figure out how do you lead your business. And then next you have her entrepreneurship one-on-one. Then you have her business acumen and strategy. I didn't want to read everything that goes into it, so you can have an idea. Her business plan and her brand. Some of these I will hold, some of these other people will come in and do the guest lecturing. So, introduction, again. Our Accelerator program, another thing that you'll receive is an introduction to life plan. And my husband was actually very fortunate to go through a Goldman Sachs training that maybe you'll highlight later to talk about the life plan. And through that, they gave him a life plan for all the entrepreneurs that went through. And it's a platform for your entire business, really. It helps you with business model canvases, building your business plan, your dashboards, etc. So as I spoke with the ladies this morning, I told them, I'm actually giving you a few months for you to prepare to come in because you're going to do a lot of work. So get your numbers, count your dollars, because you have to count every boutique. Do they still exist, boutiques? You got to count every one of them. Then you'll have introduction to Quickbooks, which is an accounting platform. I was very surprised here that most entrepreneurs here don't use an accounting software. They're using Excel. Or as another person said, their mom do their books. And I'm like, how do you know what she's doing? So you'll track your income and revenue. Income and expenses, sorry. Then we'll do the introduction to Office 365. If you don't know it, talk to our point-click staff, talk to Neffy. It's a platform for secure emails, collaboration, file sharing. That's what I use. That's why I'm doing everything I can. I operate like I'm in the United States. I have all my files, anything you want, it's on my phone. That's why I'm reading through my phone right now. So it reduces cost and obviously increases efficiency. So for you business owners, think about that. Introduction to HubSpot. It's a CRM. It's a platform for sales and marketing. It tracks your customers' marketing campaigns, etc. All that is being offered to the entrepreneurs for free. Again, I'm not so far yet, knock on wood. I have no funding. This is just out of the goodness of my heart because, again, this is my promise. We wanted to do this. We want to do this for the community and we're giving back. The Woman Boss is a nonprofit organization. I'm not here to profit or pocket anything. Workspace. All right. So the workspace, it won't look like that. It will look better than that. It will be in Fajara. If you're familiar with Yasin Senghor, the law firm, Faraj, the law firm, we're right next door. It's going to be right next door. We're building the building right now. That's why I've been here, just going back and forth. We're hoping to open the doors in February. That will be a workspace. It will be a center just for women, women only. Again, women only. That we can come in, curate, collaborate, share ideas, cry on each other, we each other's sisters' keepers. We are each other's sisters' keepers. So, what I'm really excited about to share is what's happening next. So, I came in on Sunday. On Monday, I'm meeting this wonderful person that I haven't seen since probably I was 15 years old, Beran. She was in high school. I think I'm a little bit older, but I haven't seen her in a very long time. She reached out. She said, I love what you're doing. How can I help? How can I collaborate? How can I partner? We met for coffee. While meeting for coffee, I see another friend. She walks in. Nafi's older sister. We all grew up in Raleigh. I was their big sister. She walks in, and I'm like, okay, this is not a mistake. And then I had a 12 o'clock appointment, and then it was with Siam. Amazing woman who's doing great work, philanthropy work here in the Gambia. Never met her, but she reached out again. This is what women bosses do. They reach out, right? She reaches out, she wants to meet, and next thing you know, the four of us are sitting and we're meeting. How can we help? And I said, well, I want to do the mothers and daughters brunch that I did in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was such a success. Even though I do have a passion for women, my weakness is children. I have a weakness for children. I love, love, love children, and I love to empower them, especially young girls, because we can't change this room, but we can change the young girls and change their perspective. And they can be in this room later on doing more things. And I thought, I want to do that here. I want 100. And she's like, what? We want 100. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a combination of mothers and daughters, and how we're going to aunties, daughters, older sisters. I want 100 people. So it will be March 9th, 2018. We're looking for collaborators. We're looking for sponsors. If you are all about girls, if you're all about women, if you're talking the talk, walk the walk, please see me, talk to Baran, talk to Aja, talk to Siam. We're putting this together. Please support it. Then before that, again, I spoke about the girls that applied, almost 90 applications. Actually, it was 90, 91. I got one yesterday. So for the Women in Leadership series, I thought, you know, all these women that took their time and applied, I can't just turn my back on them and wait till the center's open. There's got to be something that I can do. And so I thought about, you know what? I've done a lot of leadership series in North Carolina. How can I do one here, a leadership retreat? So I'm doing a Women in Leadership retreat. That's for all women, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. You're a kick-ass, excuse my French, you're bad, XXX woman, you need to attend. Again, all these things, I'm looking for collaborators, I'm looking for sponsors, because they are going to be free events. They need to be free so every woman can have access to it. Another 100. And that will be March 2nd. So as you can see, I'm coming in 3 weeks, but I'm going to cram it as much as I can and then make sure that everybody that needs to be there is there. So if you are, again, you want to see me, please see me on that. I'm definitely looking for collaborators. I'm actually pointing out right here, Ajukumba, I'm looking to collaborate with you. I'm pointing you out. You got you. There you go. That's how we do it. Okay. All right? There we go. So before you leave today, please go to social media. Hopefully you've been taking pictures. Take pictures with, you know, other people. Network. It's all about women. Hashtag the woman boss. That way we get some, you know, Twitter feeds or Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're using. Please do that. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for our Mary Lou. So I have a quote that I made up while she was talking. When you forget the good of the order and you focus on the power, you will not succeed. And this is what Allah is doing, the good of the order. And there are levels to this ladder. You can't just come and expect to just, you know, shine. You have to work, put in your work, and that's what Allah has done in America, and that's what she's doing in Gambia. And all of you women that are here that are working in politics, private businesses, you guys are doing the same thing. So I want you to give a round of applause to yourself, please. All right. Last week, I gave a speech at SeedStar representing Point Click Technologies, and they wanted me to speak on encouraging curiosity in technology. Before I started working for Point Click, I very much doubted myself, and I didn't see myself working in tech. In fact, heck, when I got my job, you know, I finessed my way. You know, I'm a good spokesperson, so I finessed my way, and my boss was like, yeah, you don't know a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to believe in you. And I was like, Malik, what am I going to do when I go into the tech field? And they start asking me all these technical questions. He was like, you know what? I'm going to put you to work. And I have read, and I have been to conferences in Rwanda, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, learning so much that, you know, my head's about to explode. And I actually never thought I would be able to do what I'm doing now. So I want to say thank you to my CEO. So as Awa mentioned, we have a new office location that's in Fajara, Atlantic Boulevard. It's going to be open in February, and Point Click headquarters is going to be on the first floor, and the second floor will have the Woman Boss Innovation Center, and we will also have the Innovate Gambia Innovation Hub. So if for a lot of you that are just coming in, if you don't know about Innovate Gambia, CoinClick Technologies did that last year. We launched it. We're going to be doing it big again this February, and it was basically to learn about the digital challenges that Gambia faced and how we could not only just sit and talk and do another panel like a lot of companies do, but start doing the work. All right, and now I am just going to call on Ndeye Fatou Njie, CEO of TIGA, to give a few special remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit nervous after hearing Safi and our Mary talk. I don't think I can beat that. And a little bit emotional after listening to our Mary. My name is Ndeye Fatou Njie, and I'm the founder of TIGA. It is an honor to be here and to speak to you briefly about the work I have been doing with our Mary through the Woman Boss. Since I started TIGA in 2016, we have been conducting our finances, our sales records, our inventory, everything was done manually. Some of the digital platforms we were already using are social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. For payments, we would use EcoBank to receive payments from our customers, and also use FatFat, which is a local delivery company owned by my friend Aliuka, to deliver the products to our customers in the Gambia. Digital transformation is entering an era of unprecedented change for businesses. This creates numerous challenges and opportunities for all types of businesses today. The Woman Boss program helped us realize that if we don't get on the digital train fast, our business will struggle to survive and remain relevant in the near future. Not only did the program help us get to this realization, but it also offered to work with us side by side, hand in hand, providing all the necessary tools we need to make sure we achieve our goal to digitalize. The Woman Boss program didn't only help us highlight and set up a plan to achieve our goal to digitalize, but also helped us to identify the challenges and solutions to mitigate those challenges. Some of these challenges are the unreliable and expensive internet connectivity, unstable supply of electricity, and inadequate infrastructure. We are also aware that going through a digital transformation means we need training for all staff members on posting products on site, detecting fake emails and credit cards, password security, and being more tech savvy. With the help of this program, we are currently transforming our processes from operating manually to digitally, from having an inventory system that links our sales and stock level in all outlets, to setting up an email system, to have it appear as system as well in store. We will be using Quickbooks to help us better monitor and safeguard our financial data, and also roll out an e-commerce platform with a better and efficient payment service where our customers can purchase our products from wherever they are in the world. This gives customers an easier and quicker access to TIGA products. We currently have an agreement with DHL offering reasonable shipping worldwide. All these systems are provided through the Woman Boss program. TIGA as a brand has also set goals to achieve after this transformation is complete. We hope to achieve an increase of sales revenue by 20% within the year or the first 6 months, widen our brand visibility, and have an addition of 1,000 customers across the world on our database within the first 6 months, and have additional payment options for our customers. Our goal is to create a strong ecosystem that ensures that TIGA, especially in regards to export, benefits from technological changes related to digitalization. It is also very important to highlight that the cost to digitalize is very high. We would certainly not have been able to afford to pay for all of those costs at this moment in time without the help of the Woman Boss program. As a young entrepreneur in the Gambia, you will often meet people, organizations, offering to help you with your business as your business grows in popularity. But there's always a catch to it. With the Woman Boss program, the catch is we all win. I'm going to repeat that. When you're in business in the Gambia, you often meet people, organizations that offer to help you. Sorry. But there's always a catch to it. But with the Woman Boss program, the catch is we all win. And that is why I appreciate and value every aspect of the program. The program genuinely wants to see TIGA succeed. That is why this program is such a necessity in the Gambia, and one that every young person should participate in. Once again, I would like to say a huge thank you to our Mary and the whole Woman Boss team for opening the doors for us to climb up the digital ladder, and in the process giving us all the tools we need to scale. You're such an inspiration. I am looking forward to use the tools the program has provided TIGA to better understand my business and make margins using technology. Now more than ever, we feel even more determined and positively hopeful about the future of TIGA, and this is because of the Woman Boss program. The goal is to achieve operational excellence and connect with our customers effectively, leveraging on technology. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was very emotional. There is always a catch, man. Ain't a lot of things for free. But we're glad that we have the Woman Boss that's going to be providing that for a lot of young women. Before I go on, we know as women that it is very hard for us to all work together. It's just the truth. There are a lot of women bosses in Gambia that are journalists, consultants, that have businesses. And oftentimes we say, oh, this person, man duma de waha mom, so buguma neka si panel bi, or duma de mung si event bi. Okay, I'm not coming to the event if this person is there. We as women, we really need to change that. We need to change that. Little old me, I remember I spoke at length on the phone with Ajikumba Dafe. Is she in the room? I spoke with her for about an hour, and we spoke about that. And she said, you know what, Nafisa, since you're such a fun, bubbly young person, I think that we should do something and invite all women that we know are beefing and ask them, challenge them to sit and talk to each other and love each other. And I hope that after this, the Woman Boss is going to bring all you women together to our centers, hopefully. In February, the Woman Boss will also have a panel with professional women during Innovate Gambia, so stay tuned for that. So now I'm just going to call on Mr. Abdoulaye Toure to give a special remark. Mr. Abdoulaye Toure, I met him only for the first time last year, even though he was on the board of my school. I heard a lot of very good things about him. He's been very involved in the community for many, many years. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Abdoulaye Toure, Global Entrepreneurs Network.
I hope you will excuse me if I also get emotional going forward. I feel humbled and honored to be here for several reasons. The first reason is the fact that I've always believed in the adage that, which is very African, that says, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. And it is on that principle that for every endeavor that I'm involved in, I'm always surrounded by women. And both for I have three kinds of generations. Fatim Baji is here, Ajikuba is here, they will tell you. We have what is called the downtown generation. That is those that are over 60, going up and going down. You have the midtown generation. Those are in their 30s going to 50 and 60. Then you have the uptown generation. That is those that are just graduating from high school and coming up. And life is a journey, it's not a destination. So sooner or later, you'll move from uptown to midtown and then to downtown. Now, it is also said that in life has to be lived looking ahead, but can only be understood looking back. And you make a living from what you earn, but you make a life from what you give. And giving back is in time, T-I-M-E. You give of your talent, you give of your ideas, you give of your money or materials, and you give of your energy. And I'm very much excited to be here, and I recognize my good friend and neighbor, who is the father of our Mary. We live together in Kanifing and continue to develop a very close relationship. I also recognize Dr. Salah, who is, I think, downtown generation now. But still hanging on, I agree. But I have my president, the president of presidents, Mr. Jagana, is here, the dynamic president. I call him the transformational president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I also have three dynamic and special ladies that are here. Everything that I do with them, for them, and on their behalf. Madam Juka Javan, Le Awakan Sise, and Safi Job. And of course, I have several daughters in the room. They know who they are, so I don't have to call them out. They are all looking at me, so they know who they are. But I'm honored, Malik and Marianne, for giving me the opportunity. I acknowledge the presence of our very elegant and intelligent permanent secretary, who is here deputizing for my landed friend and brother, the Vice President of the Republic, Usainu Dabo. I've already recognized Mr. Umudi Jagana. I've recognized all of you here present. I want to pay special tribute to Mr. Malik and to her darling wife for this brilliant initiative. May I, at the outset, applaud your sterling efforts for working so passionately to make this event a reality and for being able to bring this to fruition. On the sidelines of the fact that we are celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week around the world during the month of November, and the launch of Women Boss cannot be more timely, as it endeavors to unleash the intellectual prowess of women in entrepreneurship and innovation in a most fitting manner through intellectual discourse, and also choosing a fitting and important theme titled the Accelerator program, focused on collaboration, engagement, and learning. The woman boss is indeed welcome and timely, and we must, as a matter of necessity, acknowledge, applaud, and appreciate Mrs. Our Mary Ann Khan and for her sterling achievement. I'm happy that when she intervened, she made reference to the father and also made reference to the husband, because the two are interchangeable. So we applaud that. At the level of what we've been trying to do, and I have a very, I believe, privileged position of always serving in positions where our task is to give back. In the First Republic, I was the chairman, the CEO of the National Investment Board. In the Second Republic, I served as president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also founder president of the American Chamber of Commerce. And in the current dispensation, we decided to go on a mission. And the mission was, when we did our history, and we realized that the United States is the land of opportunity. But we also know that the United States is the United States because of the Gambian slaves that we are taking to the United States. The first batch of slaves that we are taking to the United States left the shores of the Gambia in 1786. In 1786, 1786 to be precise. And it, excuse the word, it had a cargo of 15 men. And those 15 men were auctioned off in Annapolis, Maryland. And one of them, the great-great-grandchildren are here, went by the name Papa Jallo. And when they were being auctioned off, they were asked what was so special about this precious cargo from the Gambia. And bear these two words in mind. It was said that they were very good in rice cultivation. Secondly, they were very industrious. Two words. 1786. Fast forward to 2018. Gambia is still not self-sufficient in rice, and Gambia is still not industrialized. Paradox. Fast forward to 1965. Gambia and Singapore had independence the same year. Gambia in February, Singapore in April. In 1965, Gambia was more developed than Singapore, higher per capita GDP. 50 years later, Ling Wan Yu wrote a book titled From Third World to First World. Singapore is now judged to be the most developed country in the world. And Ling Wan Yu said the development of Singapore was attributable to only three factors: skills, quality education, and an abundance mentality. And I want to emphasize the word abundance mentality because that goes with the mindset. Some of you that are downtown generation will recall that when we were growing up in Banjul, if you had a nice pair of glasses, it will be said, his glasses are one in town and single in Batos. That means he is the only one that has that privilege. That was a scarcity mentality. And one thing I have observed, and this was, you can confirm this, there was a research done by Pew Research, and it says Gambia, a small country in West Africa, biggest exports, highly trained professionals going the front way, biggest exports, highly unskilled labor going the back way, highly unskilled professionals going the front way, highly unskilled labor going the back way. If you go to the World Bank, to the African Development Bank, most of the high flyers are Gambians. You go to corporate America, likewise. There is no harm in that. But the reason I'm very passionate about Malikan and his darling wife is the fact that they have decided to do what I refer to as DIY. If you study in the United States, DIY is do it yourself. To me, DIY is diasporan impacting your country. This is what they have decided to do amongst the others that decided that you want to impact your community. And most of you have come back and done something phenomenal. The collective intellectual mind power of the African in the United States cannot be compared to anything. Pew Research said the most educated immigrant population in the United States are Africans. But it goes further to say the most highly underemployed immigrant population in the United States are Africans. It's a dilemma and it's a paradox. And I'm happy that these young people have decided to change. I recall when President Obama came to power, he came with the slogan, "Yes, we can." And Ajikuba came back and started a program for young people. Yes, we can read. Yes, we can read. That was the program she started. And she did not do it in the confines of Banjul and Serekunda. She went to the hinterland to start that program. Now we have Madam Khan coming together with the husband to start a similar program. And this needs commendation. Now, how do we commend you? You are asking for cooperation, you are asking for engagement. I was privileged to have engaged by the United Nations to do a study on entrepreneurship and innovation in the Gambia. I will share it so that everybody gets a copy. When it was presented in Geneva, it was adjudged to be a very good document. And I would want to stop there. What happens in the Gambia is that we initiate the best policies. We initiate the best policies, but we do not implement policies sustainably. We do not. A very dynamic young lady was married to a Gambian, and they lived for a long time in the US, and they decided to come home at one point after 15 or 20 years of marriage. And when they got to Banjul, the wife looked to the husband and said, "I have a question that I want to ask you, and I hope you don't get offended." He said, "No, I will not get offended." "What is the question?" He said, "I have been married to you for a few decades, and I have met a number of Gambians who I also went to HBCU, Morehouse College." Now, at Morehouse, Martin Luther King said, and we were always reminded, that life's most urgent and persistent question is, what have you done for others? Life's most urgent and persistent question is, what have you done for others? For Mr. Bailo to educate Mary Ann is an obligation. That is an obligation. For Aji Kumba to go to Balangar and educate the kids, that is inspiration. We have an obligation to educate our families, but we inspire others. And what she is doing now with Tiga, who happens to be my daughter as well, is to inspire, because she did not have to do it. But the story is, coming back to my story where I will end, the wife asked, "I have met so many Gambians, and as I said, Morehouse, we are told to have 5 wells. We are supposed to be well-read, well-spoken, well-dressed, well-mannered, and well-traveled." And he said, "I have met a number of Gambians, and they represent the gem of Africa, intellectually. How come Gambians are more developed than their country?" How come Gambians are more developed than their country? Simple reason: we have a scarcity mentality. We need to have an abundance mentality. And we have what it takes to move the goalposts. As I was talking to my sisters, there was no jam nyajo. In the 70s, Dr. Sala and others can confirm. I don't want the ladies to know that they are also downtown. Well, Dr. Sala can confirm that in the 70s, going to the 80s, if you got sick in Senegal, you will come to Gambia for treatment. If you wanted good entertainment, you will come to Gambia for that entertainment. Youssou Ndour and other singers got their landing in the Gambia. Now, if you get sick, you go to Senegal. If you want good entertainment, you have to bring a Senegalese musician. We have to change the narrative. We have the brain power, and we can make it happen. So my challenge is to support this initiative. And we don't only support it in words, we support it in deeds. There is nobody from JICA, but I'm informed that they have just initiated a fund whereby they are giving out grant funds for startup projects. Because the biggest problem we have as a developing country is that if we are going to leapfrog the development process, we must embrace technology. And what we have in Innovate Gambia, I was in Washington with that team, plus Ida, and they took us out to lunch. I was there when Malik was invited to the 10,000 best and brightest that the United States has to offer by Goldman Sachs. And we had a mission there with the Chamber of Commerce, and our Daddy Njai and others. And we challenged them to come back and make a difference in the Gambia. And we are so excited that they have taken the challenge. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, let's go together. Thank you.
Mr. Toure, fortunately, has left me with a lot of good Instagram content. Stay tuned. So I just also want to say tomorrow, Point Click Technologies will be launching our platform regarding the NDP. So what we're going to be doing is, we've already built a website for the NDP. We're collaborating with government, and GCCI will be doing it there. And I think that for women in business, it's important for some of you to come tomorrow, something short, because women are in the NDP, and it's important to know it. Trust me, I know it. My boss made me read each page. It's going to be, what time is it, Menge? 10. All right, 10 to 1. All right, I'm just going to call up Mohammed Jangana from GCCI to give a special remark.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure why our Mary put me last to speak. So I have a big mountain to climb. It's indeed a privilege and a pleasure to be here amongst this crowd. By the way, ignore my photo. That was me when I was much younger than now. About 15 years ago, I had a call from my former teacher, Elizabeth Renner, and she wanted me to talk to some young kids about business. I'm like, okay, what do I tell these people? So I walked into the class, and I told them, look, I have $100 here. Tell me who is the most successful businesswoman in the Gambia. So they were there, and I told them, look, you have 5 minutes. You can go in sessions or groups and come back to me. So during that 5 minutes, I was going around talking to the kids, trying to find out who is in the room, who is what they are. And after the session, I asked them, can you give me the answer? They don't seem to be having any clue. So this gentleman at the back put up his hand, and the whole class turned around and started laughing at him. They were like, you don't have the answer. And he came up with the answer. I'll tell you who the answer is. This woman here, who is the woman boss, has nurtured, inspired generation of leaders in this country. She has trained permanent secretaries, ministers, managing directors, bankers, mothers, fathers, and she is not seen as an entrepreneur. And this woman happens to be Mrs. Harriet Dow, who started the school 40 years ago. So when this boy said Mrs. Ndau, they said, no, Mrs. Ndau teach her. I told them, guys, look, now we have to talk about business. Business is not about putting on a nice suit, having an office, driving a Pajero. Those days, Pajeros were fashionable. I said, business is about looking at services and delivering it for a fee. Education is service, health is service, And Mrs. Ndao is one of the women bosses that I look up to. So I told them, now you have a second chance to tell me another successful businesswoman. So they were struggling, and at the back of my mind, I had this woman, Musukeba Drame. For some of the young people that don't know Musukeba Drame, she's the first Gambian entrepreneur to run a private tourism marketing system. So to me, you're following the footsteps of legends of Gambian women who have been the women boss. Unfortunately, there was no formal structure for them to be glorified. So today, you have started remaking of history. That's what I think personally. As a young boy growing up in Banjul, my favorite food was mburo akara or nyambe nyebe. And I will never forget this, this lady in Lancaster. We used to live in Lancaster, opposite Gambia High School. Ya Abis Njai. She made one of the best akaras. And to me, I see Ya Abis as the woman boss because she profoundly holds a society and a community together. Where every morning you'll see a series of people coming, talking to her while she's wrapping their mburo akara and giving it them. Whilst we, the young guys, were just being pushed at the back. But I'll never forget Yabis Jai from Lancaster, who was our neighbor. Then in the evenings, that's when Banjul was a very strong, knitted community. You'll go to the junction of Kampama Road, somewhere just at the edge of Tobacco Road. Yafan Jai, she had the best nyebe and fish, fried fish. Look, I'm talking about these people because these people were successful women entrepreneurs who held their families together, ran businesses, and were leaders in their community. And I want Gambians to know that, hey, it's good to look up at a woman boss. I'm saying this because I have a beautiful wife and 3 daughters and a lovely mother. My great-great-grandmother, whom I've never met, Kumatunkara, used to own a vessel that would ply Banjul to Basse, carrying merchant goods. So women bosses have been around. It's just that we men have been abusing and depriving them, as our Mary said, asking them to make the coffee, asking them to put up the jackets. But women bosses have been putting together families, holding families together, making sure that we men are educated. It was through the push of my mother that I went to Marina School. My father is from Dembakunda, 400 kilometers away. No school. Well, now they have a school there, but in those days they had no school. So what I would want to do, in conclusion, I would ask all the men to stand up. Please, I know Mr. Baksture is my president. I want only the men to stand up. And my comment is, for every successful man you see, there's a strong woman behind you. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Jangana. I can tell that you're very hungry. We'll be eating lunch in 30 minutes. All this description of food. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on Abdullah Malikan to give a closing remark. CEO of Point Click Technologies. Come on, Malik, you know how to talk. Come on.
Good afternoon. So right now, I'm the only one keeping you from eating, so I'm going to keep it very short. I just want to thank you all. Mr. Toure, I can't thank you enough. So it was just a year ago today, November 29, 2017, right? We had Innovate Gambia, an idea we thought of in 30 days, and we executed and had an excellent event. We called Nyang Jai, Abdullah Toure, Beatrice Mboj, and David Jang. And they did not charge it, they did not ask for anything in return. Oh, this is what you're trying to do, we'll be there for you. We'll do that. And that is what we're trying to promote with Innovate Gambia, for us to come together. This whole program is not a project. There are a lot of programs that come to the Gambia, it's a project. That they'll come test it out for a few years, give you hope, give you false dreams, and then you don't dream. It's us, Gambians. I believe that we understand what our issues are. We understand what our problems and challenges are. And it's up to us to build programs that will solve those issues long term. We're here to stay. Today, this project is paid for and funded 100% by point-click technologies. And this is not a marketing scheme that we're trying to gain something bigger. Like Tega said earlier, and I posted this, she got that from my tweet, that every time we talk about Innovate Gambia, there's this look of, what do you want? Folks, if you look around the world, most successful people and companies, they give back to their communities, and that's how they thrive. It's not just about their products and services, but it's about what they give back. In 2006, my wife's company had an issue with a virus on a computer. So I volunteered to come and help fix it. That turned into point-click technologies. So something I did for free turned into $1 million enterprise. And ever since then, there's a saying that whatever you give, you get it tenfold. I have many stories I can tell you that that's 100% true. Because it's not that I'm smarter than anybody else here. But you have a dream, you go after it, you work hard, and then you'll have the return. And our goal is to empower other youth to show them that they can also do those things. And that is what these 4 initiatives are about. Digitalize Gambia, because I believe it will help solve a lot of issues. You have the Woman Boss, we're standing here launching that. We have the Disruptive Lab. We have the building right now under renovation. And this will help us fund all the startups that are trying to become big. Again, 100% funded by us, by Gambians, a Gambian business. We had a meeting earlier this week with one of the government agencies. And at the end of the meeting, he said, so, is your company run by a bunch of white men? And I mean, I didn't even know what to say. So I was just like I didn't know how to answer that question. So I was like, no, why? And he said, well, when I went to your website, I saw a bunch of scrolling white people. But these are like, we put our customer testimonials, they headshots. So he actually thought that those were like the leadership of the company. But for him to even ask that question was a little bit kind of weird. So what if it was? Can I not lead a team of other colors, of other genders? No, you can. Anybody can. Just because you're African or you were born here and there, it doesn't matter. You can gain and do whatever you want. And that is what we want to empower people, to tell them that you can do whatever you want, whether you're a white man, black man, a woman, girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. I grew up with 4 strong women, and that's why I'm so passionate about this Woman Boss. My late grandmother, Yarawa Fal, every summer when kids were having fun, she would take me to the village. That's where I would spend my time there. There was no electricity. You have to take, the toilet is those where you sit in the room. But I'm at a level to where I've seen great things. I've seen nice hotels, whatever. But I'm never above to where if I had to go back down and do that, it's no issues for me. And that is because of what my grandmother taught me. Then my mom, Abisa Tulum, the same. She fought hard for me, take me to the United States. For a whole year, we were homeless. We had no home to stay in. We were bouncing from house to house to house. Can you hold my son for me? It was 4 of us. Okay, you go here, you go there, you go. For a whole year, she worked hard, got us an apartment, we all go stay there until she got on her feet. That's why until today, until the day I die, she will never have to work another day of her life. And through that time, my sister also helped out a lot. Then I met this wonderful young woman. That's why your family ties are so important. If Mr. Lowe knew who I was at that time living in Atlanta, walking around with my pants on my butt here, thinking I was cool, he would be like, that guy, no way. But because he knew my parents had a good reputation, oh, who's that? Who's the son? Oh, I mean, who's the mother? Who's the father? No problem. And that day, my life changed forever. Because I was like, if this man is going to give me his daughter, we all know you will die for your kids, right? I'm going to make sure that she never has to suffer another day in her life. And whatever she wants, I'll give it to her. And until today, I fulfilled that promise. When I quit my job, she was the one working, providing for us. So when she said she wanted to build a program, all these initiatives, I can remember we were sitting there in, it was 2017, June. She wrote all of them down on a napkin and said, this is what I want to do. I said, let's go. 6 months later, she's like, we need to go home. I was like, okay. But then I remember when I told her I was quitting my job, we had a son that was 3 years old, and we had a mortgage. You know, in the US, you have a mortgage, you have to work and pay for it. And she looked at me and said, are you sure? I said, yes. And she said, go for it. So this coming here is supporting her with her dreams and her goals and everything that she wants to do. But to do that, we have to do this as Gambians. Now, I'm not knocking any other donors that come and give us funding. We need it. But we are the ones that have to keep these programs going. And Innovate Gambia is not a project, like I said before. It's a movement. It's a movement to bring all of us together. It's a movement for us where we committed that we are going to invest up to $1 million of our own funds to make sure it works. Here's the sad thing about that. Today marks 1 year since we started, the last conference we did. We are close to $500,000 of that. But the $1 million that we committed was supposed to be for 4 years, and here we are 1 year. We're going to run out of funds. So in my video that we did before, we talked about over time we're going to need support from other people to help us get this thing going. We're going to need support from people to help us get it going. The renovation of the office for the tech lab, all those things are going to be, they're going to cost a lot of money. But we have the funds to do it, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with it. Tomorrow, we're launching one of our initiatives of Digitalize Gambia, because there's this excuse that, oh, it's too expensive. So we are taking money out of our pockets to pay for technology that the government needs. Like she said, I made my whole staff read the NDP plan. They hated me during that time. But I was like, it's important for us to understand what is it that they're looking for, and what can we contribute towards it. So we are contributing up to $100,000 of our own funds towards the NDP. How many of you have read the NDP? See, not many hands, because it's difficult. It's a long document. It's difficult to read. So we've taken that entire document and digitalized it into a web application. If you want to buy shoes or clothes, you go to a website and look around what they have, right? You can do that starting tomorrow. You can go to ndp.gm, and you can now browse the entire plan. But here's why I did that, not just to make it pretty. Because government promised us 3 things: accountability, transparency, and good governance. I asked myself, how are you going to do that if we don't have visibility on what's going on? Right? Think about it. You can tell me all the stuff that you're going to do, but how? In that web application, there's sections in there where we'll be able to see every priority that's listed in the plan, who is working on those priorities, who are the key stakeholders. So you'll be able to see who is assigned for each project, how much was assigned to that. Now, we had a meeting with the Minister of Finance, and they promised that they love it. And they're the one that suggested to do the launch tomorrow. So they in for it, right? So they're promising that they're going to be transparent, because we're giving them the platform to do it. But the other thing was, we wanted to understand what opportunities are there within that plan for the general local public here to take advantage of, local businesses. But not only that, the talent that's outside of the United States, that's outside of the Gambia. If you go to LinkedIn, like Abdullah Toure said, I was like, man, look at all these Gambians. We're the ones building America. We are the ones building Europe. And then we sit there and accept Donald Trump to tell us that Why are you bringing these shithole countries, people from our countries into our country? But we are the shithole people going there building those countries. It's time for us to at least give back some of that talent, that knowledge that we acquired from overseas or wherever back into our nation. The funds that we receive from the EU and others, I love it. Yes, it's great. But they are designed to prevent you from going to their places. For us, the motivation is, I want to prevent you from risking your lives and dying in the back way. But not only that, it's not as easy as you believe that it is when you're living in the United States or in other places. There are some people I know in the US that they're better off coming home. They will live a better lives here than they are doing there. So don't think that it's all glamorous, that if you go to the US, oh, you're good. No, it's not. It's a struggle. It's much harder today. And I'm not telling you that because, oh, you already went and you get, no. Guys, it's all about action. It's all about, putting in work. Everybody knows that success is not easy. But to me, the way I define success is, it's not that I come home, you see me driving a nice Range Rover or build a nice big house, but it's about how many other people can I lift up with me to make sure that I can sit there and say, wow, look at them. I make them, Nemenge and Nafi. Put them on platforms so they can also shine. It's not all about you. It's not at the end of the day. You may wake up and look in the mirror, it's just you there. When you die, it's going to be just you in there. But what's your legacy that you're going to leave behind? And how many people are going to be like, wow, if it wasn't for that person, it would have been very difficult for me to get to where I am today. And this is what we are trying to do. We have a goal of creating 100,000 jobs in technology industry. We have an office in India where we outsource a lot of our engineers. We can build that type of model here, and that is what we're trying to push for, where the youth here can also become remote workers. So instead of earning $100 a month, you can now earn $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Imagine what that will do to the economy here. Don't believe that GDP per capita is skewed, because the wealthy people that have all this money, if you divide it by the 2 million people, it gives you that measly $400. People are making far less than that. I went to the supermarket. I paid for a bag of chips, a box of crackers. It was like $450. I was like, okay, if you earn $2,500, if you earn like $2,500 a month, and you came to the grocery store, you just like spent almost 25% of your income. Then they were like, well, that's what they did, because they don't shop there. Why? I want everybody to shop wherever they want to, because we need to create that economy for everybody to be equal. And that's what this is about. When she said, when we had get that look of, what do you want? What do you want with this program? Like she said, because we all win. If everybody uses technology, my company can provide you the services, we can support you, we thrive, you thrive, we all win. That's the catch for us. It's not that we're looking for funding from outsiders or whatever. It will help with the program, of course, yes, but we're not looking for a handout. In Gambians, it's time for us to really take reign of our country and take it to where we want to take it. We really need to sit down and really think about, what is it that we want? I see a lot of people complain. But then whatever you do, you complain. I'm like, what do we want? What exactly, where do we want to see the country in the next 5, 10 years? And with the help of the locals and the diaspora, we need to sit down and brainstorm. The platform that we're launching tomorrow will allow us to do that. You know what, within the next 10 years, we want to be able to see that this is solved, that we don't have any more power issues, we don't have any more connectivity problems. These things are simple to solve. And we have the talent and the people that are Gambians that can actually help us do that. So we're asking for your support, and here we are. I'm just so proud that this is coming to life. Sometimes we have big dreams, right? But then when I sat there, when my wife was crying, I'm trying to hold it myself, like, don't do that to me, don't do that to me. So, I shed a tear or two, because we're so passionate about this. We really want to see our country grow. We want to see our people improve. We want people to make more money. We support each other as business owners, as women also, like Nafi said, these grudges and all those things, it's not worth it. Let's support each other and all of us grow. Okay? So thank you again so much for coming. We can now have food to eat. All right, thank you. Yeah, you can get your food, come back in. If you want to do like a Q&A, ask questions or whatever, network with people, take business cards. Our cards will be available if you. There's Aliu right there. Aliu I met on WhatsApp, and he hits me up anytime that he wants. I talk to him, I chat with him, whatever he needs. So we are open. Just don't call at 3 a.m. while we're sleeping. But we're available for anybody that's looking to do whatever. All right. Thank you so much.
It's Geolife music.
Alhamdulillah. These are great times to be in the Gambia. Yes.
Okay, what's your definition of a woman boss?
A woman boss is that person that wakes up in the morning, that takes care of her family, takes care of the husband, the kids, and everything, goes to work, comes home, stand in heels, cook, and do it all and still be a badass at the corporate office and boardrooms, going into helping the community. It's doing all of it.
Every time we talk about Innovate Gambia, there's this look of, what do you want? Folks, if you look around the world, most successful people and companies, they give back to their communities, and that's how they thrive.
This is the time where we hold hands and in solidarity and stand up for the women cause.
A go-getter, hustler. You don't sit, no sleep. Sleep doesn't exist in my world.
We can't change this room, but we can change the young girls, change their perspective.
It's Geolife music.
Education is service, health is service, and Mrs. Ndao is one of the women bosses that I look up to. And we must, as a matter of necessity, acknowledge, applaud, and appreciate Mrs. Mary Ann Khan and for her sterling achievement.
Woman boss is the woman who is in charge. And, being in business 9 years already, in and out from public and private sector, I'm just glad to see more women taking the front seat and believing in themselves.
It is also very important to highlight that the cost to digitalize is very high. We would certainly not have been able to afford to pay for all of those costs at this moment in time without the help of the Woman Boss program.
If you have knowledge, expertise in some areas,
Exactly.
we need, because we can't do the mentorship alone. We just
yes.
can't. So we're trying to create an ecosystem of other leaders.
It's Geolife music.
To eradicate poverty, provide better nutrition for the family, as well as provide the woman an opportunity to provide better educational opportunities for their children.
te nañ jàppalante ñu dimbalante ñi nga xam ne dem nañ ci kaw yàlla successful leen ci si business nañ dimbale ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi soog a ñëw parce que soo leen dimbalee rek dañoo ñëw ci kaw.
There are levels to this ladder. You can't just come and expect to just, shine. You have to work, put in your work, and that's what Awa has done in America, and that's what she's doing in Gambia. And all of you women that are here that are working in politics, private businesses, you guys are doing the same thing. So I want you to give a round of applause to yourself, please.